It's my spring 2025 update. Let's do this. Welcome to the Pharmacist's Voice podcast, episode 331. I'm your host, Ohio pharmacist Kim Newlove. These seasonal updates give you an opportunity to hear what's going on with my family, my business, both of my podcasts, and what I've been listening to, reading, watching, and playing. You can find the show notes for this episode on thepharmacistvoice.com. Here's just a little bit about me, just in case this is the very first time you have ever listened to this podcast. Again, my name is Kim Newlove. I graduated from the University of Toledo College of Pharmacy with my BS Pharm in 2001. I have been an Ohio licensed pharmacist since 2001. I have experience in hospital, retail, compounding, and behavioral health. I am not in clinical practice anymore. I am an author, a voice actor, a podcast host, and a consultant. I help my clients start podcasts, narrate audiobooks, and say drug names the correct way. I also started teaching Podcasting 101 classes here in Northwest Ohio in 2023. That may seem like a random mix of jobs, I get it, but the theme here is that I am using my voice to help other people. I either help people with my voice or I help other people use theirs. I don't take my own voice for granted because I have a son with autism who does not speak. Watching him struggle to communicate helps me appreciate having a voice and using it. Don't take your voice for granted, my friend. Use your voice too. Now, where can you learn more about my consulting work? I know whenever somebody says, I'm a consultant, it can seem ambiguous. So if you go to my online store, which is kimnewlove.com, my store has 3 departments, and you can learn more about what I do. I help people start podcasts, narrate their audiobooks, and say drug names the right way. I will say just a little bit about each one, and then we will dive into this spring update. Part 1 of kimnewlove.com is the podcasting department, if you will. You will find 3 things there. You will find my free ebook and audiobook about podcast planning. You will also find my self-paced online course about podcasting. I show you behind the scenes of my podcast to help you plan yours. And then I also have a link so you can work with me privately by the hour. If you don't want to give me your email address in exchange for my free ebook and audiobook, not a problem. You can also buy either one on Amazon.com. I actually have the book in print, ebook, and audiobook on Amazon.com. The title of the book is Pharmacist Podcaster, a podcast planning guide for pharmacy professionals. It is again available in print, ebook, and audiobook. All 3 versions provide worksheets so you can plan your podcast. The audiobook version even has a downloadable PDF of the worksheets, which is great. It's actually the cheapest way to get the worksheets because the audiobook is the lowest priced item. I've got a link to Pharmacist Podcaster in the show notes on thepharmacistvoice.com. Just hit the podcast tab and find episode 331. All right, back to the online store. I'll tell you about the other 2 departments, so to speak. Part 2 is the audiobook department. That department is for authors, usually pharmacist authors, but authors who want to narrate their own audiobook. You wrote a book, you want to make the audiobook? I am a consultant for that. On my website, kimnewlove.com/narration, I offer a free tip sheet about author-read audiobooks. And of course, there's also a link to work with me privately. And then part 3 of my online store, kimnewlove.com, is about drug pronunciations. I have a self-paced online course about drug pronunciations, but I also have a link to work with me privately. Yes, people have worked with me privately. They are preparing a script. They're getting ready to do some medical narration project. Yes, people pay me to help them learn how to say drug names. But I also give away lots of free information in my drug pronunciation series here on the Pharmacist Voice podcast. I have seen a decline in the number of people who have bought the course, probably because I'm giving it away for free. So I'm just going to discontinue the course in July 2025, and I'll just upload the most popular lessons to my YouTube channel later this year. In review, I can help you start a podcast, narrate your book, or say drug names the right way. To learn more, go to kimnewlove.com or go to thepharmacistvoice.com, that's my business website, and click the Store tab. Apart from my online store and my business website, LinkedIn is a great place to learn more about me, my services, and my happy clients. Connect with me when you stop by my profile to check all that out. And that's it for my background information. Now let's dive into this spring update. This update covers from the end of February 2025 through the end of May 2025. As I publish this, it is Memorial Day weekend 2025. Happy Friday to you. Let's go with the family update first. My family includes my husband, Nathan, and our two adult sons, Craig and Derek, and of course, myself. I will say something about each member of the family during this part. Then we'll move on to the update about my business, both of my podcasts, and what I've been listening to, reading, watching, and playing, which of course is my favorite part. Let's start with Craig. Craig is 22 and has autism. Craig just finished high school and graduated in a sensory friendly graduation ceremony for his class on Friday, May 16th. I say all this with a smile on my face because May 16th was a very good day. The school did an amazing job working with him, and they got him to wear a cap and a gown for the ceremony and walk up to get his diploma. Good job, Team Craig. Craig did such a good job following through on everything they practiced with him. Now, finishing high school is a big accomplishment for Craig. He showed up and he did the work. We are very proud of Craig, and we are so thankful to his teachers and the big village of people who helped us raise Craig from preschool through now. It took a village. We call this group of people Team Craig. Team Craig, if you are listening, thank you. Now we're working on whatever comes next for Craig. There is no job waiting for him. He isn't enrolling in college. Military service is definitely not an option, and we haven't found a daytime program that's right for him. So, what's next is a break from school, time with mom and dad, time with some caregivers, summer fun, and Craig's graduation party in June. We are very much looking forward to celebrating Craig in June. More on Craig in my summer 2025 update. That will be in August. Next up is an update on Derek. Derek is 20. He's our younger son. He turned 20 in April. Derek's finishing up his second year at the University of Cincinnati this summer. It's the very first time that he has ever attended summer school. He's in the architectural engineering program, and with how they alternate classes and co ops, it just worked out that he's in summer school. Derek just finished that first co op here at the beginning of May. He was working at a site in Avon Lake, Ohio. It worked out great for him. He had a great experience, and who knows where he will end up in the fall. One thing's for sure, a career in construction management is still his goal. That does it for the update on Derek. Nathan is next. Nathan is my husband. Nathan turns 50 next month. That's a big one. I've been with Nathan for decades worth of birthdays. The 18th when he became a legal adult, the legal drinking age at 21, becoming a new dad at 27, a second-time dad at 29. 30 seemed like a big milestone, but it also felt right for where he was in his life. Wife, two kids, career, busy, full. And then same with 40. 40 didn't seem like a big deal because he was right where he should be at the age of 40. Career, family, friends, hobbies, home, travel, and life. He has had a full decade in the 40s here. Now that he's turning 50 next month, guess what's going to happen in his 50s? Now that he's turning 50 next month, it's starting to hit us that the 50s are part of our retirement plans. When we sat down with our financial advisor years ago, decades ago, they asked us, when would you like to retire? And we picked 55. As I record this in 2025, that's in 5 years. Now, I'm not saying for sure that he's retiring at 55, but we've been trying to set things up so that we have the option for him to retire at 55. Now, he's right where he should be at 50. He's at the height of his career as a plant manager at First Solar here in Northwest Ohio. He has a loving wife, me. He's got two kids, two adult kids. Both of our kids are in their 20s. We have a comfortable home and a lot to look forward to. A lot to look forward to in this decade of life. I think the 50s are going to be a great decade for Nathan. As long as he doesn't pull any more muscles playing pickleball, I think Nathan will very much enjoy his 50s. As for an update on me, I will try to keep my personal life update kind of short here because I'm going to talk about my business, my podcasts, and what I've been listening to, reading, watching, and playing in just a few minutes. So, how about this? Since this is the spring update, I will tell you about some of the springtime things that have been going on with me. First of all, I love motorcycles. At this time, I ride a scooter, which you could lump into the category of motorcycles. I drive a BMW C400X motor scooter. I call it my grocery getter. Yes, a motorcycle can be a grocery getter. And that's because, much like a little old lady only takes her car from her house to the grocery store, I just ride my scooter around my town. I don't use it for highway travel, not hardly ever. But, anyways, it's my grocery getter. I've been driving it and I love it. Now, since it's spring, one of the other springtime things that I really love about where I live is that the local ice cream shops have opened up. I love ice cream. Just in case you don't know this about me, I have a favorite. My favorite ice cream treat is a turtle sundae with Reese's peanut butter cups in the middle and on the top. If you've never tried it, it is delicious. I prefer the hand dipped or hard ice cream as opposed to the soft serve. But hey, I don't discriminate. I like both. Next up, I have a trivia question for you. Which Hallmark holiday is in May here in the United States? Mother's Day. My mom and I went out to breakfast for Mother's Day this month. It was nice. We don't usually do anything like that, but we loved it. We got to talk about anything we wanted. I love my mom, and it was a special day. All right, different topic. The birds came back to Ohio after a long winter. I don't know where you live, but where I live, the birds kind of go away over the winter and then they come back in the spring. My son Craig got this thing called a Bird Buddy bird feeder for his birthday back in February. We hooked it up, and what it does is it takes pictures and videos of animals that visit the bird feeder. It has a camera inside. The close ups of the animals are impressive. We have a fat squirrel that visits sometimes, and we have pictures of him. We nicknamed him George. I don't know why. But, anyways, it may actually be Georgette. I don't know if it's a fat squirrel because maybe it's pregnant. I'm sure you know what I mean. You don't know when you see a squirrel, could be a boy or a girl, but he or she is cute. I guess you could say we've been watching the birds and the squirrels this spring. More spring news. I went to the annual meeting of the Ohio Pharmacists Association in Columbus, Ohio in April. That was just last month as I record this in May 2025. I love the annual meeting of the Ohio Pharmacists Association. I love meeting new people, networking, seeing old friends, earning CE, and I also got to meet up with my friend Rachel, who lives in the Columbus, Ohio area. I had such a great weekend. There is CE or continuing pharmacy education available on demand now until the end of June. So not only do I get to go to the conference and earn CE, but they also have it on demand until the end of June. I'm really enjoying it. I just did a CE about perimenopause today. I'm trying to earn at least 8 more CEs because I have to renew my license this summer and I need to get enough CE hours. If you're a pharmacist or a technician, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Probably the biggest news this spring, personally for me, is that we're replacing our wooden deck with a concrete patio and an operable pergola. Boy, that's a mouthful. Operable pergola. We had a wooden deck for, oh, geez, more than 17 years. It was great and we loved it. But if you've ever had a wooden deck, you know that the maintenance is never ending. Over the years, we have replaced broken boards, rotten wood, railings. We've power washed it. We've stained it. We've tightened down screws that have popped up. And we're just kind of done. Also, for the second time since we've owned the house, our wooden pergola ceiling was collapsing due to the weight of snow resting on it every winter. So every year, if you can imagine a foot of snow laying on some not so thick wooden decorative pieces, it just gets pushed down and down and down until it finally breaks. And that was the second time we have had to think about replacing the wood. And we just said, nope, we're done. 17 years of maintenance was enough. We were ready for something different, so long story short, the wooden deck has been removed and the concrete patio was poured this week. As I record this, it is Wednesday, May 21st, 2025, and the new concrete patio has been poured. Next, the pergola goes in. I'm really hoping they can finish that by the end of this month. We need to have a graduation party in the backyard in a month. So hopefully, this operable pergola gets installed sooner than later. Now, if you've never heard of an operable pergola, what it is the roof is louvers, and you can press a button and the louvers open to allow light to come in. Or you can press a button to close the louvers to block the sunlight out. It looks impressive, and we like to be in our backyard, so we are really, really looking forward to enjoying it. Before the project is done, however, we do have to move into the landscaping phase. As you can imagine, our backyard's been dug up a little bit here, so we're hoping to finish this 5-month project, going on 6-month project, pretty soon. That's all I'm going to say about this backyard project. I have two last anecdotes in the personal update here, and then I'll move on. In my spring 2024 update, that was last year, May of last year, 2024, I had just returned from backpacking across Europe with my younger son, Derek, and my sister, Kelly. I have been working on making YouTube videos from that trip. It took me a year, but I'm finally doing it. I'm loving looking at all these old pictures, and I'm hoping to make 5 YouTube videos total. The first one is posted on my business YouTube channel, so if you would like to watch it today, head over to YouTube /@ the Pharmacist's Voice. It is up there now. It covers the very first part of the trip, which was the Netherlands. It is a blast looking back at those pictures. I only included the highlights. I did not put anything from the red light district in there just because I want to keep it kind of wholesome. That was the trip of a lifetime for me. Getting caregivers lined up so that everybody could care for Craig while Derek and I went to Europe was such a gift. Such a great trip. Now I'll end my family update with a comment about my hair, which I hope this doesn't sound vain, me talking about my backyard, going to Europe, and now my hair. But, anyways, I have been growing the color out of my hair for almost 2 years. I have some sweet white highlights growing out of my temples at this point, and once the transformation is 100% complete, none of my old color remains, I will get a new headshot and some new branding photos. I have a great hairstylist, so me growing my hair out had nothing to do with anything against her. It's me. It's not her. It's me. The white hair just, it creeps in after a week. My hair grows wicked fast, so fast. I got frustrated with how fast the white creeped in and how much money I was spending and how much time I was spending on my hair. So I said, that's it. And I just grew it out. I am happy with the results, and I'm sharing this just in case it inspires you in your mid 40s to just let it go too. It was not that hard. I was worried about people judging me and saying things, but really, a lot of people, they just know. They don't say anything bad. That does it for my family update. Now I will update you on what's going on with my business, the Pharmacist's Voice LLC. This spring, I published my book on Amazon.com. I mentioned the book in the introduction. Again, it is called Pharmacist Podcaster, a podcast planning guide for pharmacy professionals. It is available in print, ebook, and audiobook. The audiobook has downloadable worksheets that can help you plan your podcast. As for voiceover work, I'm not trying to do any voiceover work at this time, but typically what I do is medical narration, audiobook narration, and live announce gigs. For example, I will get flown into a medical conference and I will help with a CE event. I will be the moderator. Instead, what I'm doing right now is continuing my podcasts, both of them, teaching classes local to me, and working one on one with my clients. Speaking of, I am working privately with 4 clients at this time. 2 of them are podcasting clients, one is an audiobook client, and the fourth hired me to do a miscellaneous project, which has something to do with helping her use her voice on LinkedIn. 2 of my clients should be wrapping up their projects this summer by August, so if you're interested in working with me, please reach out. I usually only take 4 clients at a time. Recently, a shiny object came my way, and I'm really interested in doing this thing that somebody recommended, but I just don't think I have the bandwidth at this time. I have a vision board and it keeps me on track and focused. So I put this item on my shiny objects category on my vision board, meaning it's something that has caught my eye, but I just don't have time for it this year. What is this thing? All right. Recently, someone recommended that I look into writing social stories on a website called Teachers Pay Teachers. Have you ever heard of this website, Teachers Pay Teachers? It's a website where you can pay a teacher to do something, possibly to help another teacher. In this capacity, I am not a teacher. I mean, I coach and I consult, but what it is you pay somebody to do something that you don't know how to do. In case you're wondering, what are you talking about? How does this have to do with the pharmacist's voice? Well, under my business, I could start selling social stories. What is a social story? You may not know this. What it is it's a step by step visual guide, and it helps teach someone about a situation, like going to the dentist. I write them all the time for my son, and people tell me that my social stories are really good. So I have helped my son Craig with situations like going to the dentist, getting a shot, a daily schedule, a shopping trip, etc. Even just to show somebody inside my world and let them have my ideas so they can, use it for their own world for whatever they're doing, whether they're a teacher helping a student or a parent helping a child, they can use my ideas to help them help their person. Again, I'm interested in this, but I don't know if I have time for it right now. Don't you just love shiny objects? They pop up, they get your attention, and then you have to decide if you're going to do something with that idea or not. In other business news, I just renewed the registered trademark for my business. It seems like just yesterday that I got my registered trademark from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. But, anyways, I have an R with a circle around it after the pharmacist's voice because it has a registered trademark. One last story for my business update, and then we'll move on. I will be teaching a Podcasting 101 class again this September at the 577 Foundation. I have been teaching Podcasting 101 at the 577 since 2023. This will be my 3rd year. I also pitched them to let me teach 2 other classes. They are Audio Engineering 101 and an iMovie class. I love the name of this that I proposed. It is YouTube Made Simple, Mac Edition, Craft Your First Video with iMovie. What all do you get from these classes? Well, in the Audio Engineering 101 class, I'll be doing a little overview of 20 skills that you need to be an audio engineer if you want to record, edit, and produce audio for a podcast. And then this YouTube class or iMovie class, YouTube Made Simple will be about everything that you need to know to make a short 2-minute video with iMovie that can be put on YouTube. I'm not sure if they want me to do the iMovie class yet or not, but they do seem interested in the audio engineering class. When I help pharmacists start podcasts, the very hardest thing for them to learn is audio engineering. And the same thing goes with my local students as well. Audio engineering is the hardest part about podcasting. So that's why I recommended that they let me teach an Audio Engineering 101 class. The last thing I'll say about this topic is that the 577 Foundation is a nonprofit community arts and nature center. To learn more, visit 577foundation.org. That's the number 5, the number 7, the number 7 again, foundation.org. 577foundation.org. I am very proud to teach there, and I enjoy the participants who take my classes. It's fun. I get different students every year, and I look forward to seeing which classes I end up teaching this year. I think that's all the big news with my business. Definitely scaling back until I can find my new normal now that Craig has graduated. I'll keep you posted in my summer 2025 update in August. What's new with my podcasts? I have two podcasts. There's The Pharmacist's Voice, that's this podcast that you're listening to right now. We talk about pharmacy topics and careers, so you feel connected to the profession of pharmacy and inspired to contribute to it. And then my second podcast is called The Perrysburg Podcast. The Perrysburg Podcast. You can find that at perrysburgpodcast.com. That is a resource for the residents of Perrysburg. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Now, my winter update was February 28th, 2025, and since then, I have covered quite a bit in the Pharmacist's Voice podcast. We have covered 6 new drug names, including Jantoven, ketamine, liraglutide, mirbetriq, nalmefene, and oxcarbazepine. My annual poison prevention episode was in March, and I invited poison educators Dr. Wendy Stefan and Angel Bivens, RPH, to return. We had a great conversation about poison prevention in older adults. Great conversation. If you have not heard that, check that one out. Great info in that one. Since my winter update, February 28th, 2025, I have also published 2 more episodes in the Pharmacist Podcasters Series. I interviewed Dr. Rachel Gainsbrew in episode 323 and Dr. Danielle Plummer in episode 329. I also published my annual Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month episode in April, and I did a solo episode about podcasting for first time remote podcast interview guests in April. That was a good one. If you have never been a podcast guest and you're curious about best practices, check that one out. It's been a busy spring with lots of new episodes on the Pharmacist's Voice, and I've got a lot more coming in 2025. Subscribe to or follow this podcast for all new episodes. Coming up this summer, the Pharmacist Authors Series returns to the podcast. I love this series. Dr. Jerry Levin will be on the show to talk about his book, Affirm Yourself. It's about affirmations. He'll be on the show in June. July's guest has not committed yet, so we won't talk about July's guest just now. And my guests for August are all set. I have more than one guest, all in the same special episode. What's going on is I have worked with my first nurse as an audiobook narration client. So that nurse author will be on the show to talk about how she worked with a pharmacist ghostwriter, a pharmacist publisher, and my audio engineer friend Julie Walters from episodes 222 and 293. That episode comes out in August. It should be a very fun episode and just might inspire you to write your first book too and narrate it. It's going to be a great episode. Follow the show for all future episodes, including that one. There's a lot more coming up in 2025. In other podcasting news, I bought a new piece of equipment. I have not bought a new audio interface in more than 5 years. I bought an audio interface called a PreSonus Studio 1824C. I'm just going to talk a little tiny bit about this. It is an 8 input audio interface. Why did I buy it? Because I will be doing some interviews that require two or more guest microphones. I hope I'm saying that right. So there's going to be me as the host with my microphone, plus my audio interface that I have now only has two inputs, so I can only have one guest. This allows me to have two or more guests. So I could actually have up to 7 guests plus my microphone, total of 8 inputs. All right, that's super nerdy. I'm going to dial this back a little bit. Long story short, I bought a new piece of equipment. It will help me with local in person podcasting for my second podcast, the Perrysburg Podcast. I'm excited to use it. If you would like to see it, I did make a YouTube video about it. Check out the Pharmacist Voice YouTube channel. There is a video about my PreSonus Studio 1824C. All I need now is a carrying case for it. It's pretty big, and I would love to have a bag that holds the 8 input audio interface plus 4 mics. What did I want for Mother's Day this year? A new bag, but a nerdy bag, something for my audio interface and 4 microphones. All right, that's enough about my new equipment. Let's talk about something else. I did something very scary for me this spring. If you are not a podcaster or into audio production, this may seem a little boring, but hey, someday this might happen to you. I needed to update my audio engineering program on my desktop. I used to have Studio One Artist version 5. I upgraded to Studio One Pro version 7. And then I updated my operating system. I am a Mac user and I fear technology just a little bit. I was on the operating system known as Monterey, and I had to make the jump to Sequoia. According to the folks at the Apple Tech Assistants, that was a big jump. They told me that I jumped 31 steps. So I missed quite a few updates, and I've got it all taken care of now. It was a pain. I wish I had not waited so long to update everything, but my lesson is learned. I will not do that again. It was a little scary, but I got through it. As for my second podcast, I'll give you a short update about that. Episode 95 came out last week. If you would like to check out the Perrysburg podcast, head to perrysburgpodcast.com. I am having a blast talking to people in my own town or the surrounding area. I have talked to the Ohio Department of Transportation. I have talked to the Adamus Board, which is the Wood County Board of Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services. I have done some solo episodes about things that are important to me. It has been a blast hosting this second podcast, this local podcast. My 2025 production schedule for the Perrysburg podcast is pretty full, and I'm looking forward to just running through the list, publishing episodes every single week for the remainder of the life of the podcast. When I started this second podcast back in July of 2023, I only planned to host this second podcast for 3 years. It's what you call a hobby podcast or a service project, a hobby podcast. So I'm not trying to monetize it. I'm just trying to give back to my community. But if I do continue to publish the Perrysburg podcast past its expiration date, which is July 2026, I will likely turn it into a monthly show and keep the theme. I would like to keep it as a resource for Perrysburg residents, and I'd like to talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. I really, truly enjoy podcasting, and I am actually chomping at the bit to start a third podcast, not because I want three at the same time, but I really would like to start a podcast called Autism After High School in Northwest Ohio. I have a son with autism who just graduated from high school, and what comes next? I bet there's a lot of people out there who have children with autism, and they might like a peek into what that life is like. What is it like after graduation, and especially in Northwest Ohio? We are not the only family with an adult child with autism in Northwest Ohio. I am not starting this podcast right now, but the thought did jump into my mind. I would love to share our journey, but I just don't have the bandwidth right now. That does it for the update on both of my podcasts. Now for my favorite part. It's an update on what I've been listening to, reading, watching, and playing. What have I been listening to? I have been listening to podcasts and audiobooks, and of course, some music. Four songs that I recently added to my playlist, my favorite playlist, are We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel, I Can't Drive 55 by Sammy Hagar, Let's Get It Started by the Black Eyed Peas, and Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and his Comets. I know that's quite the eclectic mix, but those four made it onto my playlist. Two of the podcasts that I have listened to are the School of Podcasting podcast with host Dave Jackson. He is my podcasting coach. That is my continuing education as a podcaster. And I've also been listening to CPHT Connect podcast, and that's with host Mike Johnston, CPHT. Mike is a pharmacy technician. He just published his 100th episode. He actually has a team over there, so congratulations to the team over at CPHT Connect podcast. Congratulations on 100 episodes. As far as audiobooks, I'll share the titles of two that I have listened to recently. The first one is Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. And the second one is Anti Semitism in America by Chuck Schumer. I would recommend both of them. The one, Extreme Ownership, came recommended to me by my husband. Thanks, honey. And then the other one, Anti Semitism in America by Chuck Schumer, I saw him being interviewed on a show and I thought that book looked interesting, so I listened to it. He did a great job narrating it. I am a big fan of author read audiobooks. Both of those books actually were narrated by the authors. So, Extreme Ownership and Anti Semitism in America. I would recommend them to you, and I've got links to them in the show notes on thepharmacistvoice.com. What have I been reading? I love to read books, printed books, with my son Craig. We are reading a delightful series right now called Spy School by Stuart Gibbs. It's a young adult fiction series. Once we finish a book in this series, then we take a break from it to read something else. So, if you can imagine this, we read a spy school book, and then we read The Call of the Wild by Jack London, and then we read another spy school book, and then we read Tales from the Hump, A Kid's Eye View of the 1960s by Richard Morgan. By the way, Richard Morgan was my high school chemistry teacher. If not for him, I don't know if I ever would have become interested in chemistry. So, heck yeah, I'm going to read his book. I thought it was a really interesting insight into how he was raised in Port Clinton, Ohio in the 60s. And the title refers to a hump in the back seat of a car. So, it's called Tales from the Hump. We both liked the book, Craig and I. We both liked the book. I have yet to write an Amazon review for him. I know that authors love it when their readers write a review, so I need to do that. Anyways, what else have I been reading? I also have been reading Dr. Jerry Levin's book, Affirm Yourself. That is about affirmations. The book teaches you how to write affirmations. I have no idea really what I'm doing, but I'm starting to learn. Craig and I are working on writing affirmations that will help him cope with the struggles that he has in his life as a young adult with autism, like not feeling safe outside of the home. Sometimes he's just anxious. So, in summary, I like this book, Affirm Yourself by Dr. Jerry Levin. It's actually really helping us in our personal lives, and I would certainly recommend that as well. We're about halfway through it. That does it for what I've been reading. What have I been watching? My husband and I, we watch a show just for ourselves every once in a while, and we watched a mini series called Lessons in Chemistry. I think last time I published an update, we were halfway through it. Now we're all the way through it. And we're also working our way through the TV series called Modern Family. I think we're on season 10 out of 11, if I remember right. We're almost done. And we've also been watching season 50 of Saturday Night Live as well. I love Saturday Night Live. It is something that I started watching when I was in eighth grade, I think, and I still love it. Have certainly not watched every episode, but I do love me some SNL. Now, as a family, we've been watching The Amazing Race and Survivor. We like Shark Tank. And Craig, actually, our son with autism, he really enjoys watching them with us. I think he likes The Amazing Race because Craig enjoys transportation and they're always going somewhere on a plane, a train, or in a car. And then on Survivor, I think he enjoys the challenges. He likes the challenges. And we always say, Jeff Probst rules. So I think he likes Jeff Probst, the host of Survivor, as well. When I have some free time, which is not very often, maybe when I'm doing some dishes or something, I like to watch YouTube videos. A video that I recently watched made me cry. I actually watched this one with my husband, so I guess I shouldn't say I watched this when I was doing dishes. But, anyways, it was Mr. Beast. Do you know Mr. Beast? Mr. Beast is both a person and a YouTube channel. So you can go on YouTube, type in Mr. Beast, two words, MR space Beast, and you will find Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast helped 2,000 people walk again by giving them prosthetic limbs. Now, if you've ever really thought about what you would do if you were rich because you were a YouTube star, would you ever think to help people walk again? I don't know where Mr. Beast got this idea. He is a very rich young man, and I love that he used his money and his influence to help people. Seeing all those people walk again made me cry. If you have not seen this Mr. Beast video on YouTube, go ahead and click the link to the prosthetics video. I've got a link in the show notes. I don't watch a lot of Mr. Beast, but what I do like to watch for myself is Mama Dr. Jones. That's always fun. And I like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert as well. Lots of fun stuff to be watched on YouTube. So when I'm doing dishes or, my mind is free, I am watching something or listening to something. We've also watched a few movies here and there, usually on a weekend. I told ChatGPT the names of 5 movies that I liked, and it gave me 3 more. We watched one, and it was called Red Notice. ChatGPT was right. I did like it. It had Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it and Gal Gadot. I don't know if you know Gal, but she is best known for her role as Wonder Woman. She did a great job in that movie, and anyways, she did a great job in Red Notice as well. I think it's pretty cool that we can use AI to help us pick movies. So if you have not tried that yet, you can prompt ChatGPT by telling it the names of 5 movies that you like and asking it to recommend 3 more. We also found a couple of movies on our own. One was called Greater, and the other one was called You're Cordially Invited. Greater was probably the better of the two, but, anyways, we like to watch a movie every once in a while, and we watched a few good ones recently. That does it for what I've been watching. What have I been playing? I finally downloaded the new Ticket to Ride iPad app. I have played 4 maps so far: USA, Switzerland, Europe, and Japan. If you have never played the board game Ticket to Ride, you're missing out. It's just straight up, you're missing out. It's a fun strategy game, and it has a train theme and maps. I love geography, and I love trains, and I love strategy games. So, Ticket to Ride is awesome. There are so many different maps, so that means there's different versions of it, and I am not bored. I have not ever been bored playing this in person or on the iPad. That's it for what I've been playing. Now, let's wrap this episode up. Thank you for listening to my spring 2025 update. I hope you have enjoyed hearing an update about my family, my business, both podcasts, and what I've been listening to, reading, watching, and playing. This has been the Pharmacist's Voice Podcast, episode 331. Please visit thepharmacistvoice.com to read the show notes. In the show notes, you will find links to my online store, my business website, the podcasts and books that I mentioned, Ticket to Ride. I'll put a link to the original board game, the USA map, in the show notes. I'll also put links to my other seasonal updates in the show notes with my social media links and more. Always lots of links in my show notes. Everything you need is on thepharmacistvoice.com. If you know someone who might like this episode, please share it with them. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe to or follow the Pharmacist's Voice podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks so much for listening today. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. I'll talk to you next Friday.